Hey traders, welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth for another daily market recap. It is Tuesday, November 10th, and in today's video, we're going to discuss, first and foremost, we'll go through the reminder here for Canadian markets. Tomorrow is a holiday, so you can check out these times here. So we have an early close today it was at 1 p.m. Eastern, and that's for fixed income and money markets. Wednesday, Canadian and U.S. equity and option markets are open. Canadian and U.S. fixed income markets are closed, and then markets resume trading, normal trading hours on the 12th. So I wanted to get that housekeeping item out of the way, and also make sure to like the video, subscribe, and tick the bell to be notified on any future updates. So we'll cruise over some news and events today. So the Dow rose more than 200 points today as a big market rotation continues. So we saw a huge rotation out of tech into the energy sector. That's been going on for the last couple of days. Yesterday was absolutely insane in the oil sector. And taking a look at FinViz here on the daily, you can see that we were fairly red for the most part. Technology taking the brunt of that move down, but you can see healthcare, consumer cyclicals were pretty mixed, and communication sector was mixed as well, but you can see that technology was hurt the most today. So if you're in tech stocks today, you're definitely feeling the burn. So the Department of Justice eyes GOP claims of illegal votes in Nevada, Pennsylvania, as Trump refuses to concede to Biden. So the Department of Justice is looking into allegations by the Republicans that there were illegal votes in Nevada and Pennsylvania. So claims over voter fraud. President Trump has refused to concede in the election to Joe Biden, despite major media organizations projecting the former Democratic vice president as the winner. And then Biden came out basically saying it's an embarrassment that he won't concede with the transition already underway. So literally like two kids fighting. And McConnell and Schumer reelected as party leaders as Senate control remains undecided. Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer were unanimously re-elected leaders of the Senate Republican and Democratic caucuses. So we're still waiting to hear the Senate majority, and that's going to have a lot to do as well with the marijuana legalization. You can see there was also an article that goes into that nicely, actually, that there was a vote on a House will vote on cannabis legalization article that came out earlier today, and this will be happening in December. So a bill to remove federal penalties on marijuana and scrap cannabis-related records will receive a vote on the House floor in December, according to House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer. In a letter to colleagues Monday, Hoyer outlined the legislative schedule for the lame duck session in November and December. So we're already in November and December, so we could start to see some narrative and some mainstream media news coverage like we are here now. And if that were the case, the House may potentially vote on the MORE Act to decriminalize cannabis and expunge convictions, which Kamala Harris alluded that she wanted to do, and the Biden administration, as soon as they got into office, and then expunge convictions for nonviolent cannabis offenses, preventing Americans from getting jobs, applying for credit and loans, and accessing opportunities to make it possible to get ahead in the economy. Especially with the economy hurting the way it is, that's definitely not a bad idea to get that sorted before the new year. Did not specify which week the vote will come up, but the House is scheduled to be in session December 1st to the 4th and December 7th to the 10th. So those are some potential dates that we can highlight in our calendars. So if this was the case, then we could potentially see that the federal prohibition come to an end. If we get Kamala and we have a peaceful transfer of power from Trump, and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden get into office on January 20th, like projected, if they get inaugurated and everything goes to plan, then we could see a huge run into the new year. And that would line up well with the Elliott waves as well on the cycle for the cannabis space. Supreme Court appears willing to leave Obamacare in place. Affordable Cares Act seems likely to withstand its third challenge at the Supreme Court. Several of the court's conservatives expressed an unwillingness to strike down the landmark legislation during oral arguments in a case brought by red states seeking to eliminate the law. Yeah, so you can check that out. These are all just articles that I found interesting. We also had the Apple event today. Not really going to cover that too much. It was just about their new chips. I don't think many people really care, and the stock didn't care, so we're not really going to cover it. And unless Apple gets back over $130, I have no interest in Apple. It's essentially just range bound right now between 100, 110, and 130. And we also saw that Amazon was down big today, a huge rotation out of tech. I've been calling this out for a while, that antitrust laws and charges and big tech clampdowns are going to be a big focal point going forward. And we saw that the EU hits Amazon with antitrust charges, and a huge fine could follow on that charge as well. And Biden's plan to fight online harassment could set up new confrontation with tech companies, experts say. So the Biden-Harris administration says it's planned to convene a task force that to create best practices for containing online harassment, which disappropriately affects women and young people. So internet experts told CNBC that they're hopeful that the initiative will confront social networks like YouTube and Facebook's about their policy enforcement practices. So I don't think that's huge news on that front in terms of tech, but we did see Amazon close very, very weak today at the low of the day and almost breach 3,000. We'll see if it can hold that, but we'll take a look at that chart in just a moment. It is forming a weekly head and shoulders as well, but let's take a look at SPY. So SPY, we had an hourly bear flag that we were watching. So you can see here we closed the day, almost closed the day with a hammer, but very lackluster day. We didn't even have that much volume today. It could be bulls just waiting for their chance, but in my opinion, today was the day to buy the dip, and today was a loss of momentum for me. And we do have a mini higher low here at 347.65, so that will be the next support level on watch. But to be honest, it wasn't enough pullback for me given how far we had run. So I wouldn't be surprised if that level right there broke in the short term and fails to hold. We could potentially test EMA 12 at 344.56. I could see that potentially happening. But like I said in the video today, SPY's looking very toppy, and this could be a blow off top. You can see that SPY had quite a bit of volume yesterday, most volume since June. And then before that, since the March lows. So that's notable that we're getting huge amounts of volume, and that was sell volume. It was a very, very big red candle on the day. So, I mean, the majority of the day yesterday was selling volume. And I'm starting to see some red flags here that this could potentially be a blow off top. It's really going to depend how we open up tomorrow. But I was watching the hourly bear flags, which I mentioned in my video yesterday, I believe. So you can see here we had an hourly bear flag that confirmed, and we had another hourly bear flag that confirmed as well. And if you take a look at these measured moves, they were pretty much perfect, picture perfect, spot on, called the bottom. And then if we measure this and we bring it out to about here, it pretty much lined up perfectly again. And you could have entered at 350, nice round psychological number as well. So 350 would have been a solid entry point today, and you could have easily made $5 on SPY, just about over 1%, so 1.3%. And hourly bear flags. Now we're looking to change the hourly trend. So see here we have a low, high, higher, low, inside bar, bull break, and finding resistance here at EMA 12 on the hourly chart, but went into an inside bar bull break, failed to break that, and we're basically pretty much flat, up 0.1% after hours. But if we can get above 355.17, then that will confirm an hourly uptrend. We'll want to see follow through, and most important support 350.59, and then support number 2, 352.23. So if we lose 352.23, we'll be looking down to 350.59 to potentially set a lower low. And then if we break bull here, we'll look to break 355.17 changed that hourly trend. That will give us confidence that the daily higher low is now set. And then we'll look to a lower high compared to the all-time high at 364.38. So that's where we stand on SPY on the daily. Let's take a look at gold. So gold was back in its weekly descending triangle, and it also had an hourly bear flag, which also gave me confidence that SPY was likely going to confirm its hourly bear flag as well. So let's take a look at gold so you can see. Actually, no, gold didn't confirm the hourly bear flag yet. It's still a potential bear flag at this point, though. And now I'd consider it a potential 4-hour bear flag. So you can see here, anything below 1895 is going to be a potential of a 4-hour bear flag. So we'll continue to monitor this, but it is looking like it's wanting to break down now, breaking the low of the previous candle. We do have a higher low here at 1867. So that's the most important short-term support. And then we'll be looking down to 1850. And then it's all about 1848. 1848, if we lose 1848, we're back into a weekly downtrend, and we don't have any weekly support down to 1670. So most important support level for me, 1848 on gold. And like I said, we're back into that weekly descending triangle, and we'll see how this is going to shape up over the next, could go sideways for another couple of weeks, but it's getting very close to do or die. And we got a huge fake out there in the last few days. So this is starting to get really interesting on the gold chart, and I'm eager to see which direction this breaks. Let's take a look real quick through some other indices. So Bitcoin on the daily, not really doing too much inside bar. We had another inside bar that broke bull, didn't get much follow through, back within another inside bar. So we'll be looking at most important resistance of 15,856 and support of 15,342. So that's where we stand on Bitcoin. Let's take a look at some other charts here. So the dollar bouncing a little bit, trying to go green. Had a inside bar bull break. So we had a 92.96, we hit 92.97 and pulled back. So still acting as resistance. So most important support to me is 92, or resistance 92.97. Most important support on the longer term time frame, 92.13, and on shorter term time frame, 92.60. So taking a look at the hourly chart. So we are looking to form an hourly higher low and higher high. Very choppy on the hourly chart. Could potentially be a head and shoulders as well. So we'll keep an eye out for that. But bulls still trying to get the bounce going here on the daily. We do have EMA 12 resistance at 93.07 as well to be watching. So keep an eye on that level. Let's take a look at IWM. IWM inside bar. Not much volume compared to yesterday. Not seeing any major red flags there. Let's take a look at the hourly chart. Could be a bit of an inverse head and shoulders here on the hourly. So we'll see which way that breaks going into the rest of the week. Let's take a look at oil. So US oil, daily uptrend, looking to break the high of yesterday at 41.29. It did 41.44. We have resistance at 41.87 after that. So certainly getting a little bit, not too extended here, daily, not daily overbought yet, but could potentially be topping out. If we go straight to 41.87, I would look to potentially take some profits or cash out and potentially go short, set your stop above that high, and just give up some of those profits if you already are in a daily position, or if you're in a bull position on this daily uptrend. May not be a bad idea to take some profits and look for another daily higher low, but we won't really be too concerned. We had a hourly cup and handle here that confirmed and breaking bull, so we could see some upside here in the short term. But as soon as we lose the hourly, actually as soon as we lose the 4-hour uptrend, then we can be confident that the daily lower high is set, or that the daily bounce is topping out, I should say. But we did have a 4-hour bull flag confirm, and like I said, a cup and handle on the hourly. Breaking bull. So all about the hour or the 4-hour chart right now. If we lose the 4-hour uptrend, then we will expect that our daily bounce is topping out, and we'll look for a daily higher low compared to 3709. Already did gold, XBI, bounced off EMA 12 today. How did it go into the end of the day? Ended with a double bottom essentially. A little bit of a bear break, but bull's getting enough bounce here to try and change the hourly trend going into tomorrow. XHB, so the home builders ETF on the daily, projected at EMA 12. So we're starting to see the home builder ETF and the real estate trust trend in the opposite direction now. And that sure looks like a blow off top to me. Here on the daily chart, wasn't all-time highs or anything here on the real estate sector, but we did have all-time highs at 42, but that's looking like a fairly decent blow-off top here on the daily. We do have a little bit of a volume climax there as well. Most volume since July. So again, XLE, huge couple of days. We did wane on the volume today, and we are approaching daily overbought territory, so keep that in mind. XLF just barely touching overbought, huge gap up, about a 5% gap up. Daily inside bar, most important support going into tomorrow will be 26.79, most important resistance 27.25, and then most important second resistance will be 27.44, and support will be 26.66. Volume did taper off a little bit there today, but still over the 20-period moving average. Taking a look at the hourly chart still extremely healthy, holding EMA 12, so nice visual guide here going into tomorrow. If we lose that, that'll be the first time that's happened since the gap up. And if we do lose that, then we could potentially look to fill that gap and drop down to the $25 area. So taking a look at XLV, a little bit of a red day today, broke the low of yesterday, daily consolidation underway, and volume tapered off there a little bit as well. Looking to the end of the day, we ended on a bear note with an hourly downtrend and looking to find resistance here at EMA 12. And we had a little bit of some sell volume there into the end of the day, but we had an uptrend here into the end of the day. So we're essentially just going flat here after hours, but healthcare sector, just looking for a daily higher low, and we'll look to the hourly chart as the most important. So if we can change that hourly trend, form an hourly higher low, bulls want to get as big of a bounce as possible to form that higher low and then change the hourly trend back in favor of the bulls, and then we'll be confident that the daily higher low is now established. And if we do change the hourly trend, then the support is now next, then their daily higher low will now be at 110.07. So that's where we stand on the overall broader market. Let's take a look at some individual tickers. So Amazon was the first on my list, as we did have those antitrust laws and charges that were being thrown its way. Apple, again, anything under 130, I'm not interested. As long as it's between 103 and 130, I'm not interested in Apple. I will either play the break of 130 or the break of 100 psychological. Break of 100 going short and break of 130 going long is what I mean there. So on Amazon, on the daily, you can see we had a very, very brutal 4 days on Amazon. So we had two gap ups, inside bar bull break, gap up, and doji, and then just straight 7, 8, 10%. Wow, over 10% drop. And you can see we're picking up on the volume today. Today wasn't as much as yesterday, but we did see volume taper off pretty much universally across the board today. Taking a look at the weekly, so we could still be in that weekly head and shoulders pattern. Most important support on the weekly is going to be 28.71 in my opinion. But we are just looking for a daily higher low compared to 29.50. So bulls are a little bit shaky at the moment because we're getting very close to support. And if we lose 3,000 psychological, we could easily go stop loss hunting or break 28.71, and not the move bulls we're hoping for, but we are still looking for a daily higher low. Again, it's going to be all up to the hourly chart. We'll look to change the hourly trend in favor of the bulls. If we can confirm that hourly uptrend, we'll be confident that the daily higher low is now set, and then we'll look to a lower high compared to 33.66. Probably going to favor an equilibrium. Something like that, or something like this. And that's where we stand on Amazon. Taking a look, I want to check in on Microsoft because it has a similar pattern. Weekly head and shoulders potential as well. Most important support 196.25. Taking a look at the daily, very similar. Getting crushed, just looking for a daily higher low though, but got a lot more room than Amazon. So holding up a little bit better relative to the Amazon chart. About a little under 5%. To form that daily higher low. Again, it's all about the hourly chart. If we can confirm that hourly uptrend, then we'll be confident that the daily bounce is now underway and daily higher low is now established at 209.72. But for right now, most important daily support is 199.62, so we'll round it up to 200 psychological. We do have a gap on the chart to fill here as well. So we'll be looking to the 208 range. 208.12 would be the gap fill on that. So BYND got crushed today. We had earnings come in, very, very depressing earnings that they had. We'll just zoom in here to the 5-minute chart so you can see we were up to 170 and then we fell to 106. We dropped almost 40% in such a short time. In 4 hours there into after hours. So obviously the issue around the world hurt restaurants and Beyond Meat's revenue and demand. So the stockpiling is now running out. We're starting to see people kind of, come back down to a reasonable level of purchasing orders. And we saw a huge bounce from 106. So from 106 in after hours up to 131, that's almost a 25% bounce off the lows. So there was definitely some volatility and some gains to be had in both directions. So congrats to the bulls and congrats to the bears. Honestly, McDonald's is coming out with their own McPlant burger, so that also hurt the stock. But personally, it's still a little too rich for me. It's still a little too overvalued for me to want to get involved at this point. We did breach 120. So we do have another support level down here at 88.51. So I'd like to get it a little closer to 100 or a breach of 100 potentially on a stop loss hunt if they were to do that and go after 100 psychological. So that's where we stand on BYND. MJ stocks cooled off today. I'll do a video on that one here in just a few moments, but I want to wrap things up, but we'll just take a look at these watch lists. So JMIA also down about 20% today on earnings as well. So still got some hangover there and some remnants from the bad earnings report. CWeb down 12%, Fiverr down 11%. So a lot of the work from home stocks getting hit today. Zoom was down big today. A lot of the tech stocks down today. DDD up 6%, BA up 5%. And that's where we stand. So that's pretty much all I have in terms of individual tickers. So again, I will do an MJ video. It'll be coming out here in just a little bit. We saw some rotation back out of, and the hype kind of leave the building. So I'll do a video on that one, but I do think it's just healthy consolidation and a potential buying opportunity. So we do have some economic data. We have mortgage data coming out tomorrow in the morning. And then we have jobless claims coming in on Thursday. And we'll continue to monitor the mainstream media and the situation of Trump and Biden and whether or not it's going to be a contested election, whether or not people are going to side with Trump, if they believe that the election was actually skewed and the numbers were pointed in favor of Biden, and we see that any of these rumors are true, that deceased people were voting, that type of thing, then that's obviously going to be very, very bad on the markets. And I don't think it will take too kindly to that news. And a lot of people may not necessarily be expecting it either. So it might catch a lot of people off guard, but shouldn't catch you off guard because you're tuning into these videos every day. So check back tomorrow for another daily market recap. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. That's going to do it for me today. Let me know in the comments what tickers you're looking at, what your plan is going into the rest of the week. Take care, everyone, and have a great night.